3 in the morning. Everyone is asleep, but the world outside does not sleep. And neither can you. There was something you swore you would not do again tonight. And yet here you are. Before your mind has even finished the argument, your hand is already reaching for it. The cigarette, the glass, the screen, the bite you do not need. You rise from your bed, you walk to the mirror, and you cannot recognize the face looking back at you. And you ask yourself the oldest question in the world. Why can't I just stop? Tonight I will answer that question. But not the way the world has taught you. The West has a word for the thing it believes you are missing. Calls it willpower. It tells you to fight harder, to clench your teeth, to wage war against yourself. And so, every January millions rush into the gym like soldiers. And by February the battlefield has already emptied. The calendar has turned to ash. Because willpower is a muscle that grows tired. And you ask the tired muscle to win a war that never ends. The harder you clench your fist, the more it trembles. To stand against the storm and be broken by it, this is the way of the one who fights. But there is another way, an older way, a way that never goes to war with the mind at all. The Japanese discovered something the West had forgotten. Instead of breaking the mind, they learned to flow with it. And the first secret is this: your bad habit is not your enemy. It was once your solution. That glass was a door you opened to escape a feeling you could not name. That cigarette was the only silence in a loud life. The habit was never the wound itself. It was the bandage you reached for in the dark. And you cannot tear away a bandage by hating it. First, you must understand the wound beneath. There is a story of a monk who could not tame his anger. For years he fought it. He scolded himself. He tried to pray it away. And the more he fought, the more his anger grew. Until one day his master said to him, "Stop fighting the storm. Become the sky that holds it." And the monk learned to do something strange. When the anger rose, he did not push it away. But he did not feed it either. He simply watched it the way you watch a single dark cloud drift across the moon. There is the anger. How interesting. No judgment. No war. Only observation. And here is what no one tells you. That which is observed loses its power over you. The cloud you know to be a cloud can no longer pretend to be the whole sky. This is Mushin, the mind of no mind. The art of becoming the calm witness of your own storm. Now let me tell you of a merchant. 60 years old. A man who for 20 years could not put down the pipe. He had tried everything. Promises. Shame. Nothing held. And the worst of it was the craving, that monstrous urge that rose within him and seemed as if it would last forever. One day he made a small agreement with himself. Not never again. That was too large. Only this: when the craving comes, wait 10 minutes before you surrender to it. Only 10. And in those 10 minutes he discovered something that changed his life. The craving was not a wall. It was a wave. It rose. It swelled. It reached a terrible, towering peak, and then, on its own, without any fight at all, it crested and fell. 3 minutes. Sometimes 5. Never longer. The urge he thought was an ocean was only a single wave passing through him. He learned not to fight the wave and not to drown in it, but to swim. To watch it rise, certain that it would fall. And every wave he allowed to pass without surrender made the next one a little smaller. Here is the truth the craving never wants you to know. It is not permanent. It is always a guest that leaves as long as you stop feeding it. But what of the habits too deep to simply watch? For these, the Japanese give us Kaizen, the art of change so small the mind never notices it. Understand this about your brain. It is not the friend who wants to see you happy. It is an ancient guard who wants to keep you safe. And every large, sudden change, never again, I will transform overnight, sounds its alarm. The guard wakes. The wall rises. And the guard always wins. So the secret is to never disturb the guard at all. In Kyoto there was a woman. Elegant, successful, and drowning in things she did not need. The urge to buy was her midnight religion. She had tried to quit all at once. The guard woke every time, and every time she lost. Instead, she set a rule so small it seemed almost foolish. A single rule: before you buy anything, wait 24 hours. That was all she did. She forbade herself nothing. She only delayed. And the guard never stirred. The change was too small to be perceived as a threat. It slipped beneath the radar like a seedling rising quietly through a crack in the stone. And in those 24 hours, the wave of wanting passed just as the merchant's wave had passed. She had not stormed the wall. She had quietly walked around it. One small step, then another, each too small to fail. This is Kaizen. You do not break the chain with one mighty pull. You weaken a single link so quietly that the part of you that resists never wakes. Sometimes the habit is not even the problem itself. Sometimes it fills a void left by something else entirely. There was a scribe who drank every night. Not for pleasure. He drank to mark the moment the day's battle ended, the moment the stress finally loosened its grip. He believed he needed the drink. But what he truly needed was a ritual of transition, a door between the man who works and the man who rests. The drink was merely the cheapest door he could find. So he asked himself a different question. Not how do I stop drinking, but what did I love before the world made me forget? And he remembered. As a child he had loved to paint. Now when he came home he no longer reached for the glass. He picked up the brush. He drew a new door, one that opened onto somewhere worth going. The ritual remained. The need remained. He simply gave it a better master. This is the lesson of Ikigai. You cannot remove something from a life and leave an empty space in its place. That space will grow hungry. You must fill it with something that lifts you out of bed in the morning. And finally, the gentlest of them all. There was a teacher who ate when she was sad. Then she grew furious with herself for eating. And that fury made her sadder still. And the sadness made her eat more. A wheel of shame, turning and never stopping. Until she learned the hardest thing of all, to look at herself without the knife of judgment. To simply say, I see that you are hurting. It is all right. Think of your habits as worn paths through a dark forest. Years of walking the same way have carved it deep into the earth. And you cannot erase a path. You cannot stand there in anger and command the ground to forget. It will not. But there is something else you can do. You can step just once into the wild grass beside it and slowly, painfully begin to walk a new way. And as you walk the new path again and again, the old one untraveled quietly fills with grass. It does not vanish because you fought it. It vanishes because you stopped feeding it with your feet. And so we arrive at the final secret of the MUSHİN CODEX. Your habits were never your enemies. They were teachers in disguise, always pointing toward the wound, the emptiness, the storm you had not yet learned to hold. The merchant learned to ride the wave. The woman learned to walk around the wall. The scribe learned to build a better door. The teacher learned to forgive the one most in need of forgiveness. None of them won by fighting. They won by understanding, by flowing, by watching the cloud and letting it pass. And the man at 3 in the morning, the man we began with one morning, with a cup of coffee and a quiet mind, sat before his window, and realized the war had ended without a single battle. You do not need more willpower. You never did. All you must do is stop fighting the storm and become the sky that holds it. Watch the wave. Walk around the wall. Build the better door. And forgive the one who walks the path. The old trail is already filling with grass. All you must do is take the next step. So tonight, when the hour grows late and the old pull returns, do not reach for your willpower. Reach for your breath. When the craving rises, do not run from it. Sit with it. Give it 10 minutes. Watch the wave build and crest and fall, and know with each passing wave, you are not the storm. You are the sky. Do not swear that you will never fall again. The guard behind your eyes is listening, and it does not believe in never. Make the promise smaller. So small it slips beneath the radar. One delay. One breath. One single step off the worn path. And when you stumble, because you will stumble, do not take up the knife of judgment. Look at yourself the way the teacher finally looked at herself and say, I feel that you are hurting. It is okay. You begin again. This is the way. Not a war to be won, but a garden to be tended. Not a struggle against yourself, but a long walk home to yourself. The man at 3 in the morning did not become someone else. He simply stopped fighting who he was, and in that stillness he changed. The wave will come tonight. Let it come. You already know what it is. Only a wave.